One way to think about using data viz within program evaluation is around turning data into insight. These states can be conceptualized along a directional continuum from data to insight. This conceptual model relies heavily on the efficiency rationale of data viz. In the data to insight model, data viz principles are used to reduce complexity and support pattern recognition to turn data into information or knowledge. Data viz also supports even greater human cognitive processing of that information or knowledge into the often purported ultimate goal of data visualization, sense-making, or insight. Don't overly concern yourself with the differences between these words, and don't fixate on the exact dividing point between each term. Think of each element as being not very different from the ones right next to it, but recognize that the extremes are very distinct. Also note that there is implied directionality. Various sources describe this model with different transitions along the route, such as information to knowledge, knowledge to insight, or data directly to insight, but the model always has directionality from data into something more complex. Let's take a look at the elements in this model. An individual data point is rarely useful. Typically, some type of processing is required to add relationships and context that allows us to convert data into information. For instance, each participant's pretest score is simply a data point, but comparing these scores against a scale provides information about each participant's performance. A statistical analysis can convert multiple data points into an average score, and we might call that average a data point, but it is closer to the word information in this model. We might do the same with post-test scores, which adds a time element, more information. And now we call our combined data and information knowledge about participant performance. Importantly, this model includes an iterative process where data can be converted into information, and then more data or more information can be added to convert that information into knowledge. The next element in the data to insight model is sense-making. Sense-making is the act of interpreting data, information, or knowledge and inventing a story, framework, or mental model that fits the data. Using data viz for sense-making and storytelling are both commonly discussed in evaluation and are associated with the evaluator's communication role in facilitating shared understanding. The final element in the data to insight model is insight. Creating insight is often a stated reason for data viz, but the definition of insight varies across fields. I will describe two definitions that are relevant to evaluation. One is from computer science, and the other is from cognitive science. The word insight as it is used in computer science is conceptualized as an understanding that can be uncovered. Insight is basically a thing that exists and which the user finds through analysis. Once uncovered, it is like any other knowledge that can be taught to another person. The word insight as it is used in the cognitive science community refers to the spontaneous shift from a state of not knowing how to solve a problem to a state of knowing how to solve it, in an aha or eureka moment that does not follow a traditional problem-solving process. In this tradition, insight is associated with a sudden burst of neural activity and dopamine, the brain's reward process, in brain areas associated with working memory, executive processes, and long-term memory. This definition of insight implies a process that takes place within a human brain rather than a thing that can be uncovered. While different, these two definitions of insight do not contradict one another. Both can be applied to program evaluation, and both can be supported with data visualization. Considering data viz along a continuum that turns data into insight is one way to think about reasons for using data viz in program evaluation.